Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 3 of our 3-part webinar series. My name is Ashley Bueno, and I'll be today's moderator. I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Tom Koo, VP of Enterprise Mobility here at Magnet. Today, Tom will be discussing the enterprise mobile journey and the 3 keys to digital transformation success. We'd love to hear from you during today's presentation, so please type in any questions in the Q&A tab. We have attached our 3 steps for digital transformation in the enterprise tip sheet, which you can download by clicking on the Attachments tab. Lastly, a recorded version of this webinar will be available and sent out in a follow-up email. I'd like to welcome and thank everyone again for joining us today, and now I'll pass this over to Tom. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Ashley. Good morning, everyone. Today, we'd like to talk about the 3 keys to digital transformation, in particular about the mobile journey in the enterprise. As you know, mobile has basically entered all of our lives, from social to everything we do in the personal basis and consumer world. And the transformation has somehow never reached the enterprise world. In the 70s, when data processing was done on mainframes, the computing power sort of stayed in one central location because that's where the users are. In enterprise, that sort of migrated to departmental computing, and that's what we saw the birth of client server. However, in the year 2000, web took over, and most of the application, especially back in office system, got flushed out into the front-end office, where all the users are having much more capable devices on their access, where they can basically get to everything via the desktop or their laptop computers. In that world, where all the information are shared, and that has been transitioned again in the mobile world. Although that transition has been quite relatively fast to promote productivity and commerce improvement in the web world, we haven't seen that in the mobile world, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First, the user expectations are quite high. What we have experienced in the consumer world in terms of Yelp, Amazon, eBay, all those applications are highly interactive. They're very engaging, and they basically achieve exactly what the user wants, and it's quite rewarding to use them. People are able to achieve what they want to do with relatively ease and simple guidance from the application. The line of business is, of course, demanding more. The line of business are noticing whether customers and employees are now pretty much exist in the mobile world. Mobile is no longer just the omni-channel, another channel of access for commerce and productivity, but more so is exactly where all the people are in terms of their productivity, in terms of their intent to conduct business. However, IT is kind of constrained. There are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, security. Bringing a very high, powerful device into the enterprise causes network and data security issues. Not to mention, there's quite a bit of device management and app distribution on top of that as well. Thirdly, I would have to say that the back office system is not quite ready for the mobile enterprise as it is, because all the information being transferred over the wireless airways clogs up your device, where the interactivity is somewhat diminished because the user experience no longer satisfies what they expect from consumer world. Even with that said, so how painful is it for IT to get to this? We know there's quite a bit of backlog. Gartner said about 84% of IT responding to their surveys is that 84% are saying there's a huge backlog in their mobile applications for the enterprise. There's about 10 to 20 application backlog for what I call Fortune 1000 companies, and biggest driver of that backlog in terms of resources is the inability to hire the right people for all the different type of platform we have in iOS and Android, and not to mention the Microsoft phones as well. This backlog has tremendously caused a discrepancy between the line of business and IT. And one of the things we can talk about is the ability to be able to achieve a high-quality enterprise mobile app while avoiding some of these pitfalls. First of all, there's a 3-part journey to digital transformation for mobile. First, you have to realize that one of the key differentiator between office automation systems versus mobile applications, that mobile application is driven by engagement. If users are not adopting the application, no matter how useful it is and what kind of information you present, it will not be engaging enough for the user to adopt. And if they don't adopt, the application will not be successful. This is true, of course, in the consumer world, but it's just as effective and just as valid in the enterprise world as well. The first stage of engagement, of course, has to do with communication and networking and also managing user interface. The next phase talks basically about the basic business process. We do not recommend jumping into mobile application and by rewriting the entire workflow from the enterprise. We believe there's quite a bit of number of applications that would be very suitable for basic business process changes to engage customers and employees to look at the mobile app, what we call a single intent. These mobile moments that happen in the enterprise can be identified and satisfied by single purpose mobile applications. As you get better at these mobile application design and engagement with your users, the transformative process can actually happen. Now you can actually look at the business process behind it and the data flow necessary to support that mobile application, but to do so in an evolutionary process. The next step, let me just wait for the screen to go forward a bit. So what we're going to talk about right now is the effective Magnet mobile platform in support of these two concepts: how to increase engagement abilities of your mobile application, how to derive ad hoc process so your application could take a enterprise look at different ways to approach your workflow, and finally transformative process where you fundamentally change the way people work. So conversational apps really is what we're promoting, because 6 out of 10 apps in the consumer world are mostly mobile messaging apps. As you probably have heard, there's WhatsApp, instant messaging from Messenger, from Facebook. Nearly all these applications are constant part of our personal life, and in that we spend more than 30 minutes a day inside of a chat application. Chat application, of course, has evolved, but what happens is that this increase in user retention gives you a very good way to retain your users and get them involved in the business world. So 3 key to digital transformation. First, to focus on engagement. Make sure the application has dealt with the user community as a whole and be allowed communication between all the users and a whole bunch of different communication paradigms. Link to basic business processes so you can start encouraging mobile workflow, and finally transform your workflow with your process and data. So first, on focus on engagement, one of the best example we can show you is that what we have done with Estee Lauder. In the way we're basically dealing with a retail store chain that has approximately 37,000 people who are out in the field handling makeup and issues and fashion services directly with consumers. One of the ways we promote this rich interaction is to have one-to-one and one-to-many chat capabilities. So first, you notice the application has the ability to encourage one-to-one communication, and then what happens, you can set up group for private or public forums type of discussion. The reason for that is that people feel like they're involved, they're sharing information in addition to getting information from a centralized resources. Ability to share different type of data is also very important, from textual information to pictorial information to other documents that we want to share as our daily process. This is very similar to consumer social capability that we see in Pinterest, in Messenger from Facebook, in WhatsApp. The idea that communicate while you do your work is actually very central to the way we promote mobile applications. In addition to rich two-way conversation, is that you can put this process, what we call in flow, in the application rather than a separate process where you have to take it out into email or SMS messaging. All the conversation and the actual workflow is actually in line and in context. In line means you basically have ability to continue the conversation and invite people to help you make decisions, evaluate, make decisions, or go ahead and conduct a business transaction. The next topic is to link to a basic business process. One of the things we promote at Magnet is the ability to look at ad hoc processes such as approval and communication for surveys, for intelligence from the field, or something as simple as this agreement that you might have for group sharing schedules or communication for that matter. The simple business process can be easily implemented on Magnet platform to give you real time and for ad hoc activities. the idea of surveys are no longer done after the event. You can pretty much do it in real time, in line with the services that you're providing to your customer, and in line and in terms of activities that employees are conducting with the other employees. And finally, transform workflow. The whole point about moving these 3 steps is that as you gain expertise and maturity in mobile applications, you can now look at different parts of the application that access your back office systems, exposing them to back office systems such as SAP, Oracle, where now transactional capable mobile application could be arranged, designed, and deployed. So one of the way Magnet help in this process is the Magnet mobile platform enables this type of building process with what we call configurable and also scalable middleware for the mobile applications. As you can see from the architectural diagram, Magnet services can be seen in 3 parts. First of all, from the client side, we provide the Magnet Message SDKs to support all the different platforms. We have iOS, Android, and JavaScript for those who are in hybrid mode. Of course, all these different services are developed natively, and a Magnet Services Studio basically provides these features to link up these services to what we have deployed in the cloud. The Magnet Mobile Server is a cloud-enabled Java server that provides all the interface necessary for the clients to work, including messages, user management, and logging. In addition to that, we have the ability to do server logic at the back end where we can be triggered off of different events, very similarly to messages coming in, so you can do actionable notification as well as actionable messages. A brief moment on why Magnet for the enterprise application. One of the things we fundamentally believe in that the interface to users and to employees has to be done through native capability of these phones and through our mobile platform. Because these mobile experiences are what the user is familiar with, enhances their day-to-day work experience, and also do so without tremendous amount of training or learning how to act with another type of application. Magnet powers a message type of application for conversational discussions with mobile employees, and the user adoption basically is a fundamental part of user application adoption. And also, we support agile development environment, so different type of business strategies through this 3-step process can not only be enhanced for engagement, but basic business process to finally transformative work for business applications. So, at this point, I'd like to answer some questions, and if there are any, Ashley?
Yeah, so thanks, Tom. So at this point, we will be taking questions from the audience, and if you haven't done so already, please type in any questions you may have in the Q&A panel. So, Tom, we have one. Is this strategy only good for new apps?
Now, actually, no, this application strategy is really good for not only new application, but also for existing app. Most application today exposes very simple business process, and most likely is more data-centric than it is engagement-centric. Magnet platform is a component part of this mobile design. The architecture is pretty independent of different types of software you may be using, whether it's open source or proprietary system. Our component could be easily integrated into any type of mobile development, and the backend service could be deployed on-prem or in the cloud service. So therefore, there's really enhances not only existing application, but it's also a great platform to start new applications.
Okay, great. We have one more. Is this 3 keys to digital transformation approach geared towards customers or employees?
Actually, we have started this conversation to talk about mobile enterprise. The reason is the business process in mobile world is very difficult to nail down. Most people take a very grandiose approach to mobile, and then they have not designed the user interaction, the user experience in line what we're now expecting from all mobile apps. It is really geared towards employees. However, there's really similar architecture we will propose for consumer-based application as well. Start simple, make sure engagement is your focus for the first pass or first generation of software, then concentrate on what we call the basic business process to encourage engagement through not only through interaction, but now through data and process, and then finally transform the way people work by hunting down these mobile moments that are critical to a business experience from a consumer or basically workday experience from the employees.
Great. Looks like we have just one more question that came in. Is the Magnet mobile platform compatible with other types of mobile software, such as IBM?
Yes. As I said before, we are very much a architectural component design of mobile application. Our messaging server exists in the cloud, so therefore it's compatible with work-like design if you have IBM centric type of mobile applications. We do not interfere with the design process, and our server runs in the cloud, pretty independent from other type of mobile platform. The SDK, of course, could be just thought of it as library or services. Some are considered to be online, meaning deliver as a software as a service, but we have provided two forms where you can basically get software as a service directly from the cloud or use our library of SDKs to incorporate directly for on-prem services.
All right, so that seems like all the questions that came in for now. So thanks so much, Tom, for today's presentation. This concludes today's session. A recorded version of this webinar will be available and sent out in a follow-up email. Thank you again for joining today's webinar, and have a great rest of the day.